Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video today. I'll be back live tomorrow in case you guys are wondering when I'm going to be going back live. Tomorrow is the day, but today we're going to be talking about the Bitcoin Bollinger Bandwidth percentile, or the Bitcoin Volatility Index, because the market's been boring as hell. Have we been boring this long in the past? We're going to look at it. The answer is yes, by the way. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit the like, subscribe to the channel, but let's not waste any time and jump on in. So obviously, we know Bitcoin has been going sideways forever, right? Ever since we hit the highs back on March 11th, we've been going sideways for 22 weeks, okay? Long time, right? Crazy, right? 22 weeks. We've done this in the past, okay? So obviously this summer has been really, really boring, but we've seen this before. Last year, if you guys remember, we were going sideways, right? So April, and we didn't break the highs until October. So we went sideways in last summer for 28 weeks. And if you guys remember back then, during this time, crypto YouTube was dead, crypto Twitter was dead, right? Nothing was moving up or down. It was super boring, super sideways. We didn't know if the market was going to move up or down. We didn't even know if the market was ever going to move again. We were ever going to be in a crab market forever. And if you guys remember back then, right? We were talking about how the Bollinger Bandwidth percentile, which this indicator, what it is it measures the Bollinger Bands and how wide or narrow they are, right? The more narrow, the more you could expect a bigger move soon, right? The more wide, the more you can expect probably a compression in volatility or no volatility coming in, right? The higher this is, right, the more volatile the market is. The lower this is, the more less volatile the market is. So if you guys remember back in August of last year, you guys remember the market was boring, and we were looking at this saying, okay, we're getting the first blue bar on the 2-week BBWP in the history of Bitcoin, right? This is the most boring Bitcoin has ever been in its history on the 2-week chart, all right? So we were saying, we don't know when Bitcoin's going to get a massive move, and we don't know if it's going to be up or down, but we knew that at some point soon, Bitcoin's going to have to make a huge volatile move. And you remember during that time, you didn't believe it, right? You didn't believe it because the market was going sideways for so freaking long. But when we got that first blue bar in the BBWP, which means that the market is boring, sideways, just absolutely unvolatile, what you'll notice is that's the exact week that we hit a low on Bitcoin, right? On August, right here, on August 14th, right? We hit a low right there, right? And then we went sideways for 2 more 2-week candles. For another month, we went sideways right there, all right? And you'll notice that we just kept making these blue bars, right, until volatility picked up to the upside, all right? And what I think is interesting right now is we have a similar dynamic in the market right now, right? We've had a summer and spring that's been super, super boring, right? Just like right here, we topped, around beginning of April, sideways. Right here, we topped sort of in the beginning of March. It's been sideways. You'll notice as we're on that second blue bar. And we notice as we also had a massive capitulation event to 49,000-ish on that first blue bar, okay? Remember, the first blue bar back last summer also marked the bottom for BTC. So, here's what I'm kind of looking at, and this all ties into how right now I get it, right? It feels like the market can never move again. It feels like it's the doom and gloom, and Bitcoin's just being manipulated by BlackRock and never going to move again, right? It feels like this, right? But here's the thing, and we talked about this 2 videos ago, and this is the Bitcoin overlaid over its 2 previous cycles. We talked about how maybe September could be kind of boring still, right? And how the market got a little bit of ahead of itself, early this year as we moved up to 74,000. We had to have a boring period to correct to the previous 2 cycles. And we are right here compared to the previous 2 cycles. September could be boring, but as volatility dwindles, that opens the area for a bigger move, up or down, right? I obviously lean to the upside, but it could be up or down in the near future, right? As we go into Q4 this year, right? So let's go back in the past real quick Obviously, we had last summer where we did a very, very similar thing, and we started to move up again in October, which I think is the more likely scenario here. Let's go look in the past and see if last times we've had volatility this low. Now, just to tell you guys, we've never had volatility this low. There's only been this. It's only been last summer and now. Okay, which just shows that Bitcoin is maturing as an asset and we're getting less and less volatile. But when the moves up happen, they're still big. But we need more time to go sideways because the market cap's bigger for Bitcoin, right? Let's go back in the past and look at when the last time we've had low volatility. Obviously, right here, summer, right? January through May of 2022, we weren't that low, but that was during the bear, right? That was during the bear. We had this little correction, and then obviously we had a massive move after, right? So obviously you guys know what happened there. Implosion of the crypto market when BBWP was low, right? So big move happened after BBWP was low. The other times, this was all this period. And what I think is interesting, and I think we're very similar to right here during this period, right here. I think we're very similar to right there, where we had BBWP drop really, really low, right? Not as low as now. Bitcoin was a little bit more volatile back then. And we just hit this like mid-cycle peak, right? And we came down. Obviously, we had the COVID crash, but I think we're very similar to right there, right? But without the COVID crash. I don't think we get that COVID crash. Knock on wood. Knock on wood, please.
Bruh.
Right? But I think we're similar to right there. Right? Where we're kind of going through this low volatility movement. We're kind of boring everyone out after a big move up where we had to correct a little bit. Like 2019, we had the big move up and we had to correct for a long time. Obviously, this time we had the big move up much later. So I expect the correction not to take as long. But a correction nonetheless, right? A time capitulation to get rid of all the people who just came in for the quick gains, right? They never get that, right? They get time capitulated out of the market. You don't because you have patience. The other time we had this similar, I guess right here, this was obviously a big down move for the market, right? So it doesn't always mean up. Right here, BBWP was low, big capitulation, but I think what you'll notice from all these moves is here obviously was the bottom right there. But what you'll notice is a big move comes whenever we get BBWP this low, okay? The biggest moves in Bitcoin's history, right? A 3x, a 70% or a 60% drop, right? I think COVID crash, but this was a 10x, a 50% drop. A full bull market, right? So we can expect a big move to come pretty soon for Bitcoin. I'm leaning up because I believe we're in this part of the cycle right here where we're going through the time capitulation period that every cycle has a time capitulation period. They're all just a little bit different. And I think we're going to go up and hit that Q4 top, right? Where it's December or early January. Just like the two previous cycles, we have this Q4 local top. That's where I think we're going to, all right? So that's kind of where we're at. I guess the one thing we can look at real quick before we go is the bull market support band. And then we'll look at altcoins real quick. The bull market support band, we broke the bull market support band, right? You might be thinking, that's not good. But we did that back over here back in August, right? It's very similar how the markets are so similar this time. Right here, August 14th, boom, we broke it last summer. We stayed below it for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks before getting back above. You can see we've broken below the bull market support band now, right? Guess what? On the week of the 2-week candle of August 12th, right? Such a lot of similarities to last summer. And we've done that before, right? And if you actually look at the previous cycles in the halving years, August, we had a slight wick. August of 2020, right here, 2-week candle, we had a slight wick below the bull market support band, but you notice it was bought up pretty quickly. BBWP was low. We had a big push up, right? Halving year, let's go look at the halving year back in 2016. Do we have any points where the BBWP got low? Answer is yes, 2016. Right here, actually. When was it? August of 2016. It seems to be like these Augusts of the halving years tend to be kind of crappy. And then there's a recovery afterwards, right? August is usually crappy. September is usually sideways. And then October, November, December are usually good during the halving years. It's the same every single halving year. Right here, August, first week of August, boom. Break below, BBWP is low. And then what happens? We recover back above the bull market support band. BBWP goes up, right? Volatility picks up in the market. So almost the same thing happens every single halving year in August, right? There's usually this like some type of low hit, whether it's August or September of the halving year, and then volatility starts to pick up. And it's funny how it rhymes so much this time, right? It rhymes a lot this time. Now, let's go look at altcoins. So can we do the same thing for the altcoin market? Let's go look at total 3, right? Which I think will be interesting to look at here. Total 3 excluding BTC and ETH, okay? Here's total 3. What you'll notice is the volatility is not as low, right? And that's, I think it's because the altcoins have been moving down at a much faster rate. So we've actually seen volatility on altcoins where the volatility for Bitcoin is dead, but the volatility for altcoins is very, very high, or has been still pretty high because they've been moving down so fast. But here's the thing, okay? Here is the thing, right? Remember, Bitcoin, what we usually see is Bitcoin gets volatility first. So what I think is going to happen, and this is just my opinion, I could totally be wrong about this, guys. I'm just showing you guys the charts, and I'll give you my opinion, but just know I could totally be wrong, all right? I could totally be wrong. Sometimes. Stupid. Right? But here's the thing. Usually what we see is Bitcoin gets volatility first. Altcoins chop while Bitcoin gets volatility. And then altcoins get volatility. So I think this is also playing out, right? We know Bitcoin's BBWP is low. We could probably expect that to move up first. And while the total 3 BBWP continues to correct. But if you notice, if we actually just draw a quick line here across, when's the times that we've seen total 3 BBWP cross back below this line? Because you notice it's getting pretty low. Let's go look at the time. So obviously all throughout the bear market, December 2022 and October 2023. And if you actually look, when it dropped below this line, accumulating any time during this period was a pretty good idea, right? It was a pretty damn good idea, just to be fair, all right? But here's the thing. We dropped below it right here in January of 2022, right? And this is where it gets a little bit dicey for the altcoins, all right? Because that was right here. Let me just get rid of this. You can see that volatility dropped off a cliff, but we were below the bull market support band and retested as resistance. And the volatility actually went to the downside, right? BBWP goes up, altcoins go down. Right now, we're below the bull market support band. And this is where it gets a little bit dicey for altcoins. And why I when it comes to altcoins, if you're going to buy altcoins, just make sure you believe in it, but just know that altcoins could go lower. It is what it is, right? If you're going to hold altcoins, just make sure it's money you can afford to lose, because you just don't know with these things, right? Let's go look at the other times, right? So obviously right here, November 2020, volatility gets really, really low. And this is where I think we kind of are, in my opinion. Is somewhere in this zone, right? Obviously similar to 2020, right? The August time period where we're going through this like correction, right? Where this correction was much shorter. This was before we broke the highs. This was only 12 weeks. Right now, altcoins have been going for 22 weeks. It's almost double the time of this little correction right here. When else did we see this? December 2019 was right here. It was actually relatively near the lows. So I guess besides the 1 year that's usually a bear market year, which is like the 4th year of the cycle, the times that the BBWP is low, right? So 2019, 2020 were obviously bull market years for Bitcoin. those were good periods to actually be picking up altcoins. It's 2020. The problem is we're below the bull market support band, so that's kind of the issue we have right now. You know what I mean? So, and the market, you know, is a little bit crickets. But what I've noticed is when the market's crickets, a lot of times, if you're using risk management and you have invalidation levels, a lot of times when the crypto market is crickets, that's some of the best times to be able to pick up stuff, as long as you're buying not pumps, but you're buying the big capitulation events. All right, you're buying when there is crickets. Okay, just make sure you have invalidations and levels that you're going to say you're wrong, because any time we could be wrong, right? So that's all coins. Right now, BBWP is crossing below of time. We've only been in 4 times in history. 3 of those times have meant good buying opportunities and upside. 1 of those times has meant huge downside. So take that for what you will. You do your own research. Just know that the 1 time it was downside was during the typical year that was the bear market year. And then the 3 times it was upside was the times that it was bull market years. So just understand that. So that's the video today, guys. Just wanted to talk a little bit about how the volatility on Bitcoin is, once again, right, as we know, back to levels that we've only seen 1 time in Bitcoin's history, and that was last summer. And we obviously know what happened at the end of last summer into October. Okay, so goes into my thought process. Maybe August and September could continue to be kind of boring, but then October, typically during halving years, 2016 and 2020, tend to start to pick up. All right, so as always, thank you guys for being here. You guys are the best. I'll be back tomorrow with a live stream, so excited to be back. Excited to see you guys, and excited to get back in the swing of things, man. As we probably have a little bit more boring sideways to go, but I think we're getting close to the exciting part of the market as we go into Q4 of this year, like we said. So adios, guys. Take care. Peace out. See you guys in the next one.